The Texas Department of Transportation, Houston District, would like to welcome you to this virtual public meeting with an in-person open house. This presentation will provide information on the proposed Northpark Drive Reconstruction project. This is a pre-recorded presentation. My name is Peter, and I am part of the project team. I would like to thank you for participating in this public meeting. During the virtual presentation, you may pause the video and navigate forward or backward using your video player. If you have any technical difficulties accessing the public meeting information, need special accommodations, or speak a language other than English or Spanish and have interpretation needs, please contact Gabriel Adame at 713-802-5199. Details on how to submit comments will be provided further in the presentation. The virtual public meeting is being held in conjunction with an in-person open house meeting. The open house meeting will be held on Thursday, March 7, 2024, from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Kingwood Park Community Center, located at 4102 Rustic Woods Drive, Kingwood, Texas, 77345. The information presented in the virtual public meeting and the in-person option is identical, and the opportunities to comment do not differ. The purpose of this public meeting is to provide an opportunity for the community to review and provide feedback on the proposed improvements. This meeting also offers an opportunity for the project team to address any of your questions or concerns. TxDOT commits to purposefully involve the public in planning and project implementation by providing for early, continuous, transparent, and effective access to information and decision-making processes. At this meeting, TxDOT would like you to join the process through your participation in this meeting, learn why improvements to Northpark Drive are being considered, understand what is being proposed, engage by providing feedback on the proposed project, comment. By commenting, you help steer the decision-making process. Throughout this presentation, individual puzzle pieces will appear in the upper right-hand corner of each slide. The color of the puzzle piece indicates which of the 5 topics, join, learn, understand, engage, or comment, is being discussed. At the top of the slide, you can see that the Join puzzle piece has appeared. In this part of the presentation, I will review the agenda and describe how this meeting was advertised. Then, I will provide an overview of the project, discuss background information, and explain the need for and purpose of the project, followed by a detailed discussion of the proposed improvements and the environmental analysis. Next steps and funding information will be provided following the discussion of the engineering and environmental aspects of the project. Toward the end of this presentation, there are instructions on how to submit written comments, as well as instructions on how to contact TxDOT. As we move from one topic to another, you will see the puzzle pieces change. In preparation for this public meeting, elected officials were notified of this public meeting by mail and email on February 2, 2024, and notices in both English and Spanish were published on the TxDOT webpage on February 5, 2024. Notices were also published in English in the Montgomery County News and Houston Community Newspaper and in Spanish in La Vaz on February 7, 2024. Notices in both English and Spanish were then mailed to adjacent landowners on February 12, 2024, along with the project location maps. Approximately 3,500 postcards were mailed out using the U.S. Postal Service on February 12, 2024, to mailboxes within the 77339 zip code. Informative flyers were hand-delivered to local community facilities, gathering places, and apartment complexes in the vicinity the week of February 27, 2024. TxDOT advertised the meeting on roadside variable message signs along Northpark Drive from February 19 to March 7, 2024. In addition, links giving the meeting information and notices were posted on the TxDOT Facebook page, Nextdoor, and TxDOT Houston District X page, formerly known as Twitter, prior to the public meeting. As you can see at the top of this slide, we now have a Learn puzzle piece. In this part of the presentation, we will discuss the project in general and learn why these improvements are being considered. The proposed Northpark Drive Reconstruction project is located within Harris and Montgomery counties. The project would extend for a total of 1.01 miles along Northpark Drive from 750 feet east of Russell Palmer Road to 800 feet east of Woodland Hills Drive. The estimated cost of the proposed project is approximately $69.6 million, which would be funded with a combination of federal and local dollars. This information can also be found in the project handout for quick reference. For a bit of background, in 2013, the Lake Houston Redevelopment Authority, LHRA, commissioned the Kingwood Area Mobility Study to investigate the mobility needs of the area. At the conclusion of the study in May 2015, the Northpark Corridor project was recommended. In September 2017, the area was hit by Hurricane Harvey, which brought approximately 30 inches of rain in 4 days, affecting several neighborhoods near Northpark Drive. In 2019, Tropical Storm Imelda brought 18 to 20 inches of rain that caused intense flooding, affecting residents, transit, accessibility, and reinforced the need for drainage and construction improvements to Northpark Drive. After these flooding events, and because of continuous feedback from the Kingwood Area Steering Committee meetings and stakeholder meetings, Northpark between I-69 and Woodland Hills Drive was determined as a priority improvement project. The Northpark Corridor project was broken into 2 phases. Construction on Phase 1 from IH-69 to just east of Russell Palmer Road began in April 2023 and is anticipated to last several years. This presentation will introduce Phase 2 from 750 feet east of Russell Palmer Road to 800 feet east of Woodland Hills Drive. When completed, Phase 1 and 2 of the Northpark Drive Corridor project would serve as the only dedicated all-weather event evacuation route for the residents of Kingwood. This slide shows a zoomed-out visual and the boundaries of the 2 phases of the Northpark Corridor project. Phase 1 shows the Northpark Overpass Project, or Western Phase, in blue and indicates Northpark Drive at Loop 494 to just east of Russell Palmer Road. This phase is locally funded by the Lake Houston Redevelopment Authority and the City of Houston, TERS 10. The current Phase 2, or Eastern Phases, shows the Northpark Reconstruction project that we are presenting today, in purple and green, beginning just east of Russell Palmer Road on Northpark Drive and ending just east of Woodland Hills Drive. This phase is federally and locally funded through a Category 7 grant and local funds. The Phase 2 Northpark Drive Reconstruction project is needed because the existing number of lanes on Northpark Drive do not efficiently handle the volume of vehicles that currently use the road, which results in heavy traffic congestion. As the area continues to grow, this congestion is expected to worsen. As we discussed earlier, inclement weather and flooding also consistently affect the Kingwood area, and Northpark Drive is a necessary evacuation route out of the neighborhoods. Also, the lack of adequate drainage reinforces the need for the proposed improvements, and there are no continuous sidewalks or bicycle facilities along Northpark Drive. The overall purpose of the project is to reduce traffic congestion, improve stormwater conveyance and drainage, provide a viable evacuation route to I-69, improve pedestrian and bicycle safety, and to elevate the road above rainfall inundation levels during rain events on Northpark Drive between the limits of Russell Palmer Road to Woodland Hills Drive. To visualize the congestion on Northpark Drive, the project team studied the level of service. You can think of level of service as a grade that is given to a roadway to gauge how well it handles the traffic that is there today. Much like grades in school, level of service ranges from A, free-flowing traffic as shown in light green, to F, which is heavily congested as shown in red. In terms of delays experienced by motorists, a LOS A through D is considered acceptable or passing, and an LOS E or F is considered unacceptable or failing. As you can see on the left part of the slide, the existing roadway is currently operating at capacity with an LOS of E, or orange, from Russell Palmer Road to Hidden Pines Drive, and an LOS of D, or yellow, from Hidden Pines Drive to Woodland Hills Drive. According to the Texas A&M Transportation Institute's 2022 Most Congested Roadways in Texas report, Northpark Drive ranked in the top 10% most congested roadways in the state, out of more than 1,800 roads analyzed. On average, more than 31,000 vehicles traverse Northpark Drive every day. Without the completion of the Northpark Drive Reconstruction project, the overall LOS is projected to degrade to an undesirable F in 2030, with drivers experiencing heavy delays during peak traffic hours. With the lane improvements from this proposed project, future traffic would operate at an acceptable LOS of D or above. The benefits of the proposed project would include decreasing the daily delays and slowdowns in travel time, improved mitigation of stormwater and rainfall inundation, prepare for the anticipated increase in vehicles that use Northpark Drive as the area continues to grow, and improved pedestrian facilities, including bicycle shared use paths. As you can see from the top of the slide, we now have the Understand puzzle piece. In this part of the presentation, we will introduce the proposed improvements so that you can become familiar with what actions are being considered and provide informed feedback. Northpark Drive can be separated into distinct sections. This slide illustrates the limits of each section. Section A covers two segments of the Northpark corridor. The first section beginning just east of Russell Palmer Road to Kingwood Diversion Ditch, and the second section A beginning east of Stony Glen Drive to east of Woodland Hills Drive. Section B covers the limits of the Kingwood Diversion Ditch crossing to west of Glade Valley Drive. Section C begins west of Glade Valley Drive to east of Stony Glen Drive. Let's take each section one at a time. The different configurations of these sections are illustrated using typical sections, which are cross-sections of how the roadway looks today or would look with the proposed improvements. The map is shown on the slide for easy reference. Today, Section A has 4 11-foot wide travel lanes, 2 in each direction, and 2 1-foot wide curb offsets on each side. The grass ditch median varies between 54 and 72 feet wide. The existing right-of-way is approximately 120 feet wide. The proposed Section A, shown here, would have 6 12-foot wide travel lanes, 3 in each direction, with raised medians varying in width from 4 to 16 feet wide, and 1 12-foot wide turning lane at cross streets. 2 10-foot wide side paths would be added to accommodate bicyclists and pedestrian traffic, and the right-of-way would vary from 130 to 150 feet wide. Existing Section B is comprised of 2 32-foot wide bridges. Each bridge includes 2 11-foot wide travel lanes, 2 in each direction. Similar to Section A, Section B also includes 1-foot wide curb offsets in each direction. Proposed typical Section B would be comprised of a 116-foot wide bridge spanning across the Kingwood Diversion Ditch. There would be 6 12-foot wide travel lanes and 2-foot wide outside buffers in each direction and 10-foot wide side paths for pedestrians and bicyclists. There would also be a 12-foot wide turning lane running westbound and 4-foot wide medians. The proposed minimum right-of-way would increase to 150 feet wide. The existing typical Section C has 4 11-foot wide travel lanes, 2 in each direction. There are also 11-foot wide left and right turning at cross streets with 1-foot wide curb offsets in each direction. There are grassy medians between 18 and 140 feet wide with a 10-foot wide grassy shoulder running westbound outside of the lanes and a 4-foot wide sidewalk running eastbound. The existing right-of-way in this section varies between 120 and 258 feet wide. Proposed typical Section C would also include 6 12-foot wide travel lanes with 12-foot wide left turning lanes at cross streets. There would also be 2 5-foot wide outside buffers and 10-foot wide side paths in each direction. Proposed ditch medians would be 4 to 140 foot wide with retaining walls constructed to separate the travel lanes and to reduce the impact on existing trees. One of the primary goals of this project is to prevent Northpark Drive from being inundated by stormwater from Ben's Branch during major storm events. To do this, Northpark Drive will be elevated above the 100-year floodplain, and larger box culverts are proposed to allow stormwater to pass underneath the road. While considering options for improving drainage, it is also important to ensure these improvements do not impact water levels upstream or downstream of the project. All drainage design is based on using the most current Atlas 14 rainfall data that has been adopted by the City of Houston, TxDOT, and the Harris County Flood Control District. The left side of this graphic illustrates the existing crossing at Ben's Branch, which is frequently overwhelmed by extreme rainfall events. This illustrates that during large amounts of rain, The culverts under the road are completely filled with water, which causes water to overflow onto Northpark Drive. The right side of the graphic illustrates how Northpark Drive would be elevated above the 100-year floodplain. The small culverts would be replaced with larger box culverts to provide more underground storage for water during heavy rains. In addition, other channel improvements are planned on Ben's Branch upstream of the proposed culverts to maintain existing flows downstream for more frequent rainfall events such as 2- and 10-year storms. The proposed project would require the acquisition of approximately 6 to 38 feet of right-of-way, ROW, along the north and south sides of Northpark Drive, resulting in a new ROW width of 126 to 298 feet. The project would require approximately 3.7 acres of additional ROW and would result in 34 partial acquisitions of adjacent property, but no displacements. The proposed right-of-way line can be viewed on the layouts at the open house meeting or online at the webpage listed later in the presentation. If you have any questions about how your property may be impacted, information about the City of Houston property ordinances and Northpark Drive right-of-way can be requested by emailing the Lake Houston Redevelopment Authority representative at info@lhra.com. This project is receiving federal funds, and because of the federal component, TxDOT is required to assess the potential environmental effects of the proposed project in accordance with federal standards. The process that is followed is called the National Environmental Policy Act process, otherwise known as NEPA. The NEPA process provides analyses of the potential impacts to the natural and man-made environment and helps the decision maker to make an informed decision on whether or not to proceed with the project. On December 9, 2019, TxDOT received a signed Memorandum of Understanding from the Federal Highway Administration that permits TxDOT to assume responsibility from the Federal Highway Administration for reviewing and approving certain assigned NEPA projects. This review and approval process applies to this project. The project team is identifying and evaluating potential environmental impacts that could occur as a result of constructing the proposed project. Areas that are under review include biological resources, community impacts, environmental justice, water resources, hazardous materials, archaeological resources, historic resources, and traffic noise. The project would be designed to avoid or minimize impacts to the greatest amount practicable. Once completed, technical reports documenting the analysis and the conclusions of these studies will be available for review upon request. The proposed project would be funded with a combination of federal and local funds for a total of approximately $69.6 million. We want to highlight the estimated project timeline. Look for the green "We Are Here" arrow at the top middle of your screen. After the comment period closes, the project team will review the comments received, make appropriate design changes, and prepare official public meeting documentation. Public meeting documentation will be posted to the project meeting webpage after the close of the comment period. The next steps include receiving an environmental decision, beginning detailed design activities, and acquiring right-of-way. A letting date is to be determined. However, federal funding is scheduled for 2027. The project team estimates that construction would take approximately 2.5 years. TxDOT encourages you to review the materials regarding the proposed project and provide feedback. You may submit comments in the following ways. Download the comment card from the project webpage, www.txdot.gov/projects/hearings-meetings.html and email to hou-pio-webmail@txdot.gov. Fill out the comment card at the open house and drop in the comment box. Mail the comment card to TxDOT Houston District. Attention Advanced Project Development Director, P.O. Box 1386, Houston, Texas 77251-1386. Comments must be received or postmarked by Friday, March 22, 2024 to be included in the public meeting documentation. Responses to verbal and written comments received during the comment period will be included in the public meeting documentation that will be posted on the project webpage when complete. Please don't hesitate to contact us with any questions, and feel free to contact Elizabeth Moreau at the TxDOT Houston District Office by phone at 713-802-5223 or email at elizabeth.moreau@txdot.gov with any questions or comments at any time during the project development process. And don't forget to click on these links and follow us on X, formerly Twitter, for ongoing road closures and construction updates on the X page. You may also keep up with TxDOT news on our Facebook page or follow us on our Instagram page. November 7th, 2000 was the last deathless day on roadways in Texas. That means for over 2 decades, at least one person has died every single day. We all have a part to play to change that. This message is that reminder to end the streak of deaths on Texas highways. We need drivers and passengers to act more responsibly and help us reach our goal of 0 deaths by 2050. Texans can play a major role in ending fatal crashes with a few simple driving habits. Wear seatbelts, drive the speed limit, put away the phone and other distractions, and never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs. So please, do your part and share this message with your friends and family. Thank you for participating in this public meeting. Please remember to submit your comments no later than Friday, March 22, 2024, to be included in the official public meeting documentation.